Welcome back, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer. So now let's talk about what's happening around the world and how this affects the price of silver. Things are escalating at rates we could have never imagined, and we also know that Biden has Israel's back. We don't know how long this is going to last. We don't know the extent, but we do know that people are very fearful, and we also know that precious metals is a safe haven, which in return will affect the price of silver. I'm not going to jump into the political stuff. I just want to talk about the events happening and how this affects the price of silver. This is a silver stacking channel, not a political channel, but I have to share this because it does directly affect the price of silver. So we have a couple articles. This one talks about Biden pledging military aid, political support for Israel amid Gaza war. We have a second article titled Silver Prices Forecast. Silver surges as dovish Fed geopolitical risks converge. Folks, this is your one-stop shop for silver news and geopolitical events affecting the price of silver. I post daily videos. You will always be kept in the loop, the inside scoop. Click subscribe and also go enter because I'm giving away some silver as we approach 100,000 subscribers. May the luckiest stacker win. So, U.S. President strongly rebukes Hamas and offers unqualified backing for Israel's duty to respond to attacks. United States President Joe Biden has pledged unwavering support for Israel as its military pummels Gaza with bombardment in the wake of an unprecedented attack from the Palestinian group Hamas over the weekend. In a White House speech on Tuesday, Biden said that Washington will provide additional military assistance to Israel, which has since declared war on Hamas. And by the way, I will be keeping you guys updated with this situation since this does affect silver's price. So another reason to subscribe if you guys want to stay up to date with this. He also underscored the brutality of Saturday's attack, which killed hundreds of people and saw others taken captive, and compared Hamas to ISIS, accusing it of terrorism. This is what they mean by human tragedy. An atrocity on an appalling scale, Biden said. We're going to continue to stand united, supporting the people of Israel who are suffering unspeakable losses and opposing the hatred of violence of terrorism. The U.S. president, however, did not provide details about the Israeli war in Gaza or its aims, only backing what he called Israel's duty to respond to these vicious attacks. That's interesting. Al Jazeera looks at 5 key takeaways from Biden's address. I like this. I chose this article in particular because it gives context to what Biden's saying. Like it said, it looks at 5 key takeaways, folks. So Biden pledges more military aid to Israel. Biden pledged military aid, which already receives $3.8 billion in U.S. military aid, $3.8 billion that we don't have. That is, I'm not trying to throw any context behind, I'm not trying to say it in any type of way. I'm literally reading the amount. And I can also say we don't have that much money, but I'm not saying it's not a good thing. I'm not saying it's not a bad thing. I'm just telling the facts. We don't have that. We're $33 trillion in debt. But anyways, we're surging additional military assistance, including ammunition and interceptors to replenish the Iron Dome, which, by the way, it's this rocket system that usually can, take down anything. But when you throw 5,000 rockets in the air unexpectedly overnight, of course, it's not going to be able to defend all of that. We're going to make sure that Israel does not run out of these critical assets to defend its cities and citizens. So here is the actual tweet. sat down with our teams to receive a situation update on these attacks in Israel and direct next steps. We connected with Prime Minister Netanyahu to discuss coordination to support Israel, deter hostile actors, and protect innocent people. And that's a picture of this meeting. The U.S. President called on Congress to take urgent action to fund the national security requirements of our critical partners, likely referring to both Israel and Ukraine, the latter of which is fending off a full-scale invasion from Russia. This isn't about party or politics, it's about the security of our world, the security of the United States of America, said. Biden added that his administration is in near constant communication with Israeli partners, and I'm sure he's going to try to use this to also win the election, just like he won the election right when COVID hit, basically. That was kind of how he did it. I'm not saying, okay, that's kind of an opinion. I guess you can't link that directly, but you guys know. Anyways, though, he's just capitalizing on a situation. Who wouldn't, right? So, according to the White House, he's been closely following the situation with daily briefings from his security team. Earlier on Tuesday, he spoke to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for the third time in as many days. We also have Americans held captive, which could get ugly. When it gets personal, you know that America is I don't even got to say this stuff, right? I don't have to finish my sentence because you already know what I was going to say just between the three words that I said. Biden confirmed that Americans are among the captives held by Hamas without specifying the number. He also said that 14 U.S. citizens have been, in the attack. I can't say some of these words because YouTube is very strict on this stuff. I'm directing my team to share intelligence and deploy additional experts from across the United States government to consult with and advise Israeli counterparts on hostage recovery efforts because, as president, I have no higher priority than the safety of Americans being held hostage around the world. And there was no mention of Palestinian civilians or broader conflict, just the Americans held hostage. And plus, he didn't give his opinion on any details of the war. He just said he's helping Israel out with money and billions of dollars and ammunition. So with the death toll mounting in Gaza as Israeli jets relentlessly bombed the densely populated territory, Biden did not mention Palestinian casualties. Instead, he focused on Israeli victims of Hamas's attack. I mean, that makes sense. If he's going to support Israel, then why would he mention Palestinian casualties? It makes sense. So this article is not coming from a biased perspective, it's just stating the facts, and that's how it should be, stating the facts. So Hamas's 2017 charter counters Biden's claim, rejecting the persecution of any human being or the undermining of his or her rights on nationalist, religious, or sectarian grounds. Biden also did not address the root causes of the conflict. You know who would, though? I don't even got to say that president's name. So Hamas leaders have said they launched the attack in response to Israeli violations at the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem, near daily violence against Palestinians in the West Bank and the nearly 20-year blockade on Gaza. Leading rights groups have accused Israel of imposing a system of apartheid on Palestinians. The U.S. warns against taking advantage of war. Biden apparently addressing Iran and the Lebanese group Hezbollah warned other parties in the region that taking advantage of, against taking advantage of the war at least. So to any country, any organization, anyone thinking of taking advantage of the situation, I have one word: don't. Our hearts may be broken, but our resolve is clear, he said. The U.S. president said Washington has enhanced its military force posture in the region to strengthen deterrence. The Pentagon announced plans to send additional military ships and aircraft to eastern Mediterranean after the Hamas attack. We stand ready to move in additional assets as needed, quoted on Tuesday, which is today. The U.S. has not participated directly in the attacks on Gaza. Maybe that could be a yet. And a White House spokesperson said on Monday that Washington has no intention to put U.S. boots on the ground. Unqualified political support for Israeli response. He offered unqualified political support to Israel's military response despite fears for the more than 2.2 million people who live in Gaza. Israeli leaders have already declared a complete siege on the Palestinian enclave, pledging to prevent food and other essential supplies from entering the territory, raising concerns from rights advocates and the United Nations. Like every nation in the world, Israel has the right to respond, indeed has a duty to respond to these vicious attacks, Biden said on Tuesday. So that is a little bit of his opinion. Let there be no doubt the United States has Israel's back. We'll make sure the Jewish and democratic state of Israel can defend itself today, tomorrow, and we always have. It's simple as that. Biden he also told Netanyahu that if the U.S. had experienced a similar attack, its response would be swift, decisive, and overwhelming. We also discussed how democracies like Israel and the U.S. are stronger and more secure when we act according to the rule of law, Biden said. So that's that. Those are the 5 key takeaway points Biden's mentioned so far. You know, that's something I'm always going to give you is the inside scoop, the most important stuff. I don't beat around the bush. I get to the meat and potatoes. I'm not going to tell you the stuff that you don't need to know, like a lot of people do. So here's the silver price forecast. Silver surges as dovish Fed geopolitical risks converge. Let's actually look at what silver's price is doing right now. So silver's at $21.84. Let's look at like the 1 week chart. Silver has been, I guess I would say moderately climbing up from, this is the 1 month chart, so it's still down from a month, but you can see the last week or so, things are looking up. We saw it down to $20 and, mid $20, and we were talking about potentially $18, $19 silver, but it looks like there's a lot of price stability, so it's looking like it's going back up, especially with things going on right now. So, amid geopolitical unrest and Fed hints at pausing rate hikes, silver gains as a hedge, repositioning its market's value. So here's some of the key highlights. Silver rides geopolitical turmoil and dovish Fed hints for a rally eyeing future gains. Safe haven demand for silver renew amid Israel-Hamas tension and Fed speak. Vice Chairman Philip Jefferson among Fed voices pointing to a slowdown in rate hikes. So it's capitalizing on a perfect storm of factors. Silver is setting the stage for a potentially significant rally after spiking 1.2% earlier in the week, largely in response to geopolitical tensions between Israel and Hamas. Silver remains a key asset for traders looking for a hedge against uncertainty. And that's the thing. Things are always, it's sad to say this, but things are always going to be going downhill in the future. Like, there's no way the dollar's going to survive too much longer. We have the BRICS nations. We have, corrupt systems within just the U.S. itself, if you live in the United States at least. Stuff like this, it shouldn't even take this situation happening between Israel to invest into precious metals. It shouldn't take, in like a couple months, it shouldn't take banks literally to collapse before you decide to put your money in precious metals. We know this stuff is inevitably going to happen, not these specifics, but we know that times are getting crazier and you have to be prepared. Don't do it after the fact, after the banking system collapses. after this situation has happened over the weekend. You do it before. You do it before. You're preparing, not waiting till the aftermath has occurred. So, anyways, we have a pause on rate hikes, treading carefully on rate policy, short-term forecasts. Bulls are in control. So it is looking like silver is probably going to start going up. This would be a perfect time to capitalize, lowering your dollar per ounce average, since it still is it's relatively low to, let's look at the 3-month chart. So yeah, I mean, this is definitely a low point. You could take advantage, lowering your dollar per ounce average cost, and capitalize on that. A lot of people fear when silver's down, but true stackers that understand the value of silver look at this as an opportunity. So yeah, I'm going to wrap this video up here. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like the video and make sure you subscribe. Comment down below what you think. Make sure your comments are, respectful. And I post daily videos, so make sure you subscribe. If you want to purchase some silver, I recommend Miles Franklin. Just send an email to info@milesfranklin.com. Let them know Silver Slayer sent you. Andy Sheckman is the CEO. They have new deals every Monday, every single week, new deals. So check what the deals are. Let them know what you want. Very respected, trusted company. That's the company that filled the $50 million order from that Texas billionaire. He filled it in 2 days, 900,000 eagles, stuff that no other company or person, Andy Sheckman, could pull off. So I'm honored to be able to offer you a business relationship with them, especially since they still can work with the U.S. Mint, as basically nobody else can, not you and me. We can't purchase directly from the U.S. Mint. Last year, they banned everyone buying directly from them. So that should speak for itself on how trusted this company is. So anyways, yeah, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Thank you so much for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.